Today I'm in Linlithgow, a small Scottish town with a huge royal history, and behind me is one of the most spectacular palaces, ruins in the country. This is the birthplace of Mary Queen of Scots, and I'm going to explore the palace, the loch, the town, and whether Linlithgow is actually worth a visit. As I step off the cobbled high street and pass beneath the great stone arch, the modern world falls away almost instantly. Immediately on your left-hand side stands the bronze figure of Mary Queen of Scots. She was born here on the 8th of December, 1542, in rooms that overlooked the very courtyard that I have walked over. 6 days later, she became Queen of Scotland after the death of her father. So we're just outside the palace entrance now, so let's go inside and explore. Step forward into the great courtyard and the scale becomes clear. 4 towering ranges surround you, forming a square that once enclosed one of the most luxurious Renaissance palaces in Scotland. At the centre stands the elaborate fountain, a symbol of royal prestige. In its prime, wine is said to have flowed from it during celebrations for visiting dignitaries. The courtyard was both a home and a stage, a place where monarchs displayed power, hospitality and culture. As I walk from the courtyard, I head to the Great Hall. The Great Hall was the ceremonial heart of the palace, a vast statement of royal authority. When it was built in the early 1500s, it was amongst the grandest halls in Scotland. Imagine the space alive. A hammer-beam timber roof soaring overhead, walls draped with rich tapestries to keep out the cold, torches flickering against painted plaster, and long tables stretching across the floor for feasts. At the far end stood the royal dais, where the king sat elevated above everyone else, literally above the realm. Music would have echoed here, harps, voices, and the clatter of silver plates. Look for the enormous fireplace, even that could barely warm the room during a Scottish winter. As I leave the Great Hall behind, I head towards the Chapel Royal. The atmosphere changes immediately. Even in ruin, the space feels calmer, more solemn, as if the noise of court life stopped at the threshold. Room by room, Linlithgow Palace reveals a world where power, ceremony, family life and the survival all existed under one roof. From roaring feasts in the Great Hall to quiet chambers overlooking the loch, this wasn't just a fortress, it was a living royal city in stone. Here kings planned wars, queens gave birth to heirs, diplomats negotiated alliances and servants worked endlessly behind the scenes to keep the machinery of monarchy turning. Every staircase carried whispers, secrets. Every doorway separated public grandeur from private vulnerability. It was here that a newborn girl destined to become Mary, Queen of Scots, began a life that would captivate Europe and end in tragedy. And it was here, too, that generations of Stuart monarchs returned again and again, drawn by the comfort of this palace between Edinburgh, Glasgow and Stirling, a favourite residence at the heart of their kingdom. Fire, rebellion and time have stripped away the roofs, the tapestries and the royal court, but not the presence of what happened here. The silence you hear now is not emptiness, it's the echo of centuries. Today as you walk these ruins, you're not just visiting an ancient building, you're moving through the stage on which Scotland's royal story unfolded, a place where triumph and tragedy live side by side and where the past still feels close enough to touch. So great views from the tower here. This is the one part of the palace that you can still go right up to the top. Great views from up here. 360 views. So I'm just going to have a little look in this tower. It's very small. This is the entrance to it just here. So let's just pop in here.
Very cool ceiling. Good brickies back in the days. And great views onto the loch. The legend has it that Margaret Tudor climbed up here to await the return of her ill-fated husband from the Battle of Flodden in 1513. The Bower Chamber, as this is called, an intimate private place. The Royals may have invited flavoured guests inside to sip sweet wines and drink in the views of the gardens and loch and parkland. I could quite see myself coming up here with some red wine and nibbles. Some of these windows you get a fantastic view out of, just like this one here. So Linlithgow Palace is such a great place to come and explore. You could get lost in here, no bother. In fact, I have a few times. A few times I went to get up to the top and I've followed a staircase up to the top and it's been a blocked door, but I finally managed to get up the top. But if you like discovering places, you'll definitely love this because there's so many hidden departments and alleyways, hallways, different floors to discover. You could spend all day here. It really is worth the £11 for the entry. This room is very well preserved. It's in excellent condition. And it shows a lot of the artefacts back in the day, such as ceiling mouldings, weaving tools, glass, pottery. This would have been the wine cellar back in the day, now used for arts and crafts.
From down here by the lochside, the palace and the church rise side by side above the town. Power and faith standing together on the skyline. The still water softens the ruins, turning stone into reflection, history into something almost peaceful. It's hard to imagine that this quiet place once echoed with royal celebrations, political intrigue, and the footsteps of kings and queens. Today it feels less like a stage of power and more like a memory, one that Scotland has chosen to keep.
So I'm just down by the lochside now. It's 2.3 miles if you want to walk all the way round the loch. It takes you about 45 to 60 minutes to walk round it. It's a very flat surface. Most people start the walk from the palace. The loch is a site of special scientific interest, so keep an eye out for the great crested grebes, tufted ducks and occasional otters. So getting a bit hungry after all that, and I'm going to head down to the town now and see what delights we can find down here. I've been recommended an Indian restaurant, so I'm going to give that a try, I think. Heard it's pretty good. So we'll just make our way down there. So I'm just down in the main square area of the town. Lots of coffee shops around here. So if you enjoy your coffee, could be a good start to your day, coming out for a coffee and trying one of the local coffee shops. There is a few side streets just off the village centre that you can walk down to the loch if you didn't want to start your walk at Linlithgow Palace. Great view down by the lochside here. So just at the end of the village, you've got this precinct area, and this is where I'm going to head for my Indian cuisine. And it's called Delhi's Winter. So quite an extensive menu here in the Delhi Winter. I've ordered the lamb bhuna curry, which is $13.50, a chapati and some pila rice. So quite look forward to this. Some pompadons to start with. and the dip. So let's see what like this is. So here we have the lamb and boona curry, which was recommended by the staff. We have the pila rice, and we have the chapati. So it all looks rather delicious. Great smells. So I'm going to tuck into that now. Well folks, hopefully you've enjoyed my tour of Linlithgow today. If you've enjoyed the video, if you could give me a big thumbs up, and if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. Till the next one folks, bye for now.